Welcome back to my YouTube channel, even as we continue our discussion on the various communication style that we as parents exhibit even as we relate with our teenagers. And last week, the passive and the aggressive communication style. And this week, I want us to look at the final two, which is the passive-aggressive and the assertive communication style. And even as we begin, I'd like to urge us to subscribe so that this information can even get to more parents out there. So let's begin with the discussion for today. We are going to look at the third parenting style, which is the passive-aggressive. So they are both passive and aggressive, two in one. So in this type of parent, this is someone who is sarcastic because they don't want to be openly aggressive. They will make sarcastic comments. So you think you're going to go out like that? People are not going to treat you nicely when you do that, or you're going to get the wrong attention when you do that. So when we are being sarcastic in a way, you're eating all that food, you're going to grow. And people are going to laugh. These sarcastic remarks, they are actually aggressive, but in a passive way. We are not having this body language or harsh tone or using threats, but those sarcastic remarks we are saying in passing, they are still aggressive. We avoiding direct talk, where you cannot talk directly to them, but just go around beating around the bush, as we've said, using sarcastic remarks or just vague example from people out there, of which doesn't really help the teenager directly, and though there is that hope that it will help them in some way. And there's the guilt trips. Oh, when you do that, how much you've hurt me. You have no idea and how I've been sacrificing, and then so all that guilt trip where we want this teenager to feel so bad, not only about the situation, but even so bad about who they are and how they are. And sometimes this borders a form of emotional abuse if it happens so often, whereby anything they do, it is all about how it has harmed you as a person, as a parent, and how it is devastating you and the likes. So it is not really aggression out there, like the intimidating body language which the aggressive parent has, but you're using aggression in a mild way, whereby it's all about you. You need to feel bad because of what you've done to me. So it is passive, but it's a bit of aggression where it is me. I want to see this face, and you need to really take care of my feelings and my emotions and how I am. There is also indirect anger, where you're not lashing out the anger directly to them, but around in the things around you. The way you close the door, the way you will handle the food, the way you will talk to the nanny, the way you will just be with everyone, the way you will handle your phone or other things. You're not aggressive directly to this teenager, but this teenager now notices that because this has happened, my parent is acting in a funny way and in a weird way, and they are being angry to other objects and not directly to me, but I know I am the cause. So that anger sometimes can really it can cause the teenager to be a bit fearful and really wonder and a bit confused and the likes. So that indirect anger also comes in because you are angry, yes, and you have an aggression. The aggression is there, but it is not directly given to the source of anger, let me say quote unquote source of anger, but around other things. But this teenager or the other people, they can tell that this anger, the banging of things, the throwing things like that, they can tell that this anger is supposed to be theirs, but it's used on other things, and you're supposed to notice it. This teenager is supposed to notice it and adjust behavior so that you do not behave in that manner next time. And what does this lead towards this teenager? It causes a lot of confusion. You can imagine, like just that aspect of you're angry. You are saying you're not angry, but the way you're acting looks like you're angry. So this teenager is so confused and wonders what is up with that. There's a lot of mistrust because they're wondering, my parent is not honest with me directly. They use sarcastic remarks, to correct me, like you'll end up with nothing, or if you continue with this path, people end up like just sarcastic, but they're not telling me directly what it is they want me to deal with. So those causes mistrust, because if my parent cannot be honest and look at me and control their mood and be able to have this discussion with me, then I cannot trust them with other things, because they will use the same thing around the bush to relate with me. There's emotional shutdown, because wow, someone who they're angry but they're not saying it, they're around them, but how they are behaving and how everything is, they can tell this is just off. This environment is not safe. Yes, I know I am not, the anger is not coming directly at me, or the sadness or whatever it is, but man, the environment is not really safe for me, so they will end up shutting down emotionally as a result of that. Then there's a lot of dishonesty, because they can see it, because as a parent you are modeling it. You're angry, no, I'm not angry, no, I'm okay, no, that's fine. But then they see how you're eating your food, how you're working, how you're handling dishes in the kitchen, or how you're helping them to do their homework. They can easily tell that you're saying that you're not angry, but I can see this behavior that is off. So they learn that, oh, okay, so if a parent can be dishonest, why not also I can also do that and not be so honest with people around me. So basically that is how being a passive aggressive parent, it affects the teenager. Then what can you do about it? Speak directly. Speak directly to them. Don't use sarcastic language. Do not say you're fine but you're not fine. But even as you talk and you speak directly to it, you need to be careful how you do it, so that then you do not become the aggressive type where you're just sharing out of fear. And then out of that fear or the need to affirm yourself as the authority, then you need to own your emotions. If you're feeling sad, it is okay. If you're angry, own those emotions and not blame it on on whoever has been the source, or the teenager now coming in. We need to say, yes, I am angry. I'm pretending, or I'm trying to lie to myself that I am not angry directly at this teenager, but the way I'm behaving, I am angry. So acknowledging it and seeing a way of dealing with it instead of avoidance, using that aspect of avoidance. Be open about conflict. Conflicts happen and they are there. So let us not avoid that aspect of knowing this is not going right, and we need to address it, and being able to address it in a calm manner and in a way that helps everyone. So I hope that will help with that part of parenting in a passive aggressive way, and how we can change. Now, lastly, it is the assertive parenting style, and this is the ideal parenting style that we desire to emulate, and all of us, we can strive to get to this point whereby we are assertive, but yet we are not aggressive, but yet we are not passive, and also not passive aggressive, where we know how to handle our emotions and how to deal with the situation directly. So this parenting style is where the parent is respectful. You respect the teenager as another human being. Most of the time in my trainings, I tell parents that the difference sometimes between your teenager and yourself is that you were born a few years earlier, but rather you're just both human beings with a spirit and a soul and a mind. So having that in mind, you will tend to respect them more, and deal with them as they are, as another human being who is also struggling with challenges and who need encouragement and affirmation and the like. So being respectful really helps, and that also the teenager will model that back to you, especially now in this day and age where the teenagers we have are mostly Gen Zs, whereby you have to earn their respect. So you being respectful will really help to go a long way. And this is a parent who is honest, and they will honestly say, you've done this and I feel angry, I'm frustrated about it, or I am sad that you have done this, because I have these hopes for you, and I desire you to be this kind of person, and the way you've done this is not okay, and I don't feel, sometimes you can even say, because of these, I don't feel like talking about it now, so you'll give me time to go and rest. We can discuss it later, or even after maybe you have an angry outburst, you coming back later and saying, I am sorry I had that angry outburst, because that is me, that is on me. I did that, but it's because the situation, what you did was overwhelming for me. So you doing that will really help a lot, and that honesty, you are also modeling that aspect of being honest, and they are likely to do the same thing back. Empathetic. So this is a parent who understands, yes, my teenager has been influenced by the friends, but I understand there's that longing, deep longing for you to be accepted. All of us, we have it. Even as adults, we get to that point where we want to be accepted in a certain group, be it at work, in the chama, in our men's encounters that we go to, in our relationships, in our family. We all want to be accepted and affirmed. And that is why you now understanding and also getting to understand that your teenager, that is what they are desiring even in this peer pressure. And we are not saying you don't give them the consequences. We are not saying you have that firm, res- respectful talk and having the consequences and having the boundaries. You're not saying you don't have that. You have that, but it comes from a point of understanding where this teenager is coming from. And then lastly, this is a parent who is firm. You love them, they can laugh with you at any time, they can enjoy moments with you and the likes, but they know there is a line I cannot cross. There is an authority here that if I do this, this is the consequence. If I do this, there is no debate. This is it. So there's that firmness, and this firmness does not come from a point of anger or a point of feeling threatened that my authority is being questioned, but from a point of you wanting the best for the family and offering them security. So what is the impact of such a parenting style? It builds trust. So this teenager tends to trust this person because they are honest, because they are firm, and they're empathetic, they're trying to understand where I'm coming from. So it causes them to trust this parent. And then it models healthy talk, because an assertive parent is a parent who really talks to the teenager and they have a conversation. These are parents, they do not talk down to the teenager. They're having a conversation the same way you will have a conversation with a close friend of yours, where there's mutual respect. You listen, you talk, you listen, you talk. So that tends to happen. This also encourages cooperation between the parent and the teenager, because they have noticed that this parent respects me, this parent understands where I am coming from regardless of the consequences that are coming my way. And this parent is firm. So there's that cooperation that I need to work with this parent. They are saying I will not have my phone until Saturday, and they are firm on it, and they respect and they understand that, oh, the longing that is there even when they are not giving me that form until the weekend. So how can I work? How can I earn a few hours maybe during the week? What have they told me to do so that I can earn at least an hour or two in a week to just have my phone for 20 minutes or so? So then there's that cooperation, and they will come to have that discussion with you. It deepens the connection, because this is someone who feels respected. They feel that this person is being honest with me, and they have their best interest at heart for me, and they are not there just to prove their point or just to show that they are the ones in authority and that I'm not being threatened, or sarcastic remarks are not made at me that put me down to some extent. So, and most of the time these are in terms of how to improve on this area, because we all need to improve. This is where you use I statements. A parent gets to this point by using I statements. It is not you did this, you have disappointed, you have shamed me, you have shamed this family, you do not care about yourself. Yes, sometimes we do that. We accept that sometimes we do that. But this is whereby when you do that, I felt that you are not respecting the rules that we have for this family. I felt disappointed that I had really these big hopes, and I had really this trust towards you that you will do the right thing. But I feel sad and disappointed that this happened. And that is why that aspect of using I statements really removes it from you attacking the teenager, and the teenager feel understanding where you're coming from. And then pausing really helps a lot, especially when they take and you pause, because when you pause, you can get to understand if they are finished what they are saying. And when you pause in that silence, the teenager gets to think deeply about what they are saying. and then now they end up responding better. But if it's this exchange and interruptions going in and out, there isn't that moment of reflection, and that reflection really helps for someone to think deeply about the argument that they are making. And then always inviting dialogue, always asking this teenager, if you want us to talk, you come, we can have this conversation, we can talk about this, and we can see how it can help you now and even in the future. So and that is the assertive kind of parenting style and ways they can improve. And so in this journey that we have come through the 4 parenting styles, and hoping we'll find a way to see where you fall, because sometimes we can fall in any of them. We can pick characteristics from the various types, but generally there's one area where we lie mostly. You can see where we are. We all make mistakes, including myself in my parenting. There are times I can feel, no, let me just give in, and there's times maybe I can anger. So I am not saying that I am also all wanting to get to this point of being an assertive parent where we are respectful, honest, empathetic, and firm as we relate with our teenagers. So that is it for today. I'm hoping I will see you next week, even for the next discussion. And even as I say bye, please remember to subscribe and check out our resources in our website, ParenTeen Kenya, where we have ebooks and books that can help you in your parenting journey, especially one that is it's a practical guide on how you can communicate with your teenager. And if you're struggling with boundaries, we also have an ebook on how you can set boundaries and the consequences we can use. So I go down explaining the boundary and the consequence and the examples of consequences you can use so that you can have an easier or even better time parenting your teenager. Bye for now.